We're going to end the day today with some remarks from one of the continent's, one of Africa's most influential and most astute observers of the agricultural space. And not only that, this is a woman who has had a particular passion during her career for the role of women in agriculture and for the role of young people in agriculture. So Her Excellency Rhoda Tumusiime is the African Union Commissioner for the Rural Economy and Agriculture, and she has also been a senior member in that space, in that agricultural space, holding several posts in the government of Uganda. So she is here to offer some remarks, and I would like you to welcome, please, Ms. Rhoda Tumusiime. There we go.
Maybe I should say for the young people, good afternoon. Yes, distinguished participants, ladies and gentlemen, it is a great honor for me to be invited to attend and give a keynote address at this very important Young Africa Works Summit. I commend the MasterCard Foundation for organizing this important and timely summit. I also salute the government of the Republic of Rwanda for graciously hosting this summit. At the outset, I must point out that this summit has come at the right time. I'm sure earlier on in the morning, those of you who attended, you must have been told that the African Union's theme for 2017 is harnessing the demographic dividend through investment in the youth. This theme derives from the sixth aspiration of Africa's Agenda 2063, which envisions an Africa whose development is people-driven, relying on the potential of African people, especially women and youth, and caring for children. Our focus of this theme is informed by facts on the ground. In 2015, the United Nations estimated that there were 226 million youth in Africa who are aged 15 to 24 years, accounting for almost 20% of Africa's total population. Millions of these youths are either unemployed or underemployed. By 2030, the number of youth is expected to rise by about 44%, reaching a total of 333 million young people in Africa. The UN population projects further that Africa is the only region in the world whose youth population is still rising and is projected to reach 500 million people by 2060. That's a big number. It is this reality that is driving the African Union and her member states to pay attention to the rising population of the youth in order to create opportunities for them to realize their full potential and live productive lives. The Commission of the African Union has recognized the role of the youth and what they will play in shaping the future of this continent, and has established a youth desk in the Department of Human Resources, Science and Technology. For the second year running, the Commission has been operating the AU Youth Volunteers Program that trains youth in various areas of expertise and also places them in its various departments, in directorates, and in affiliated technical organizations. Coming to the agricultural sector, I wish to underscore that we are prepared to walk the talk and implement the AU Malabo Declaration for transforming agriculture towards results and impact. Indeed, The Declaration on Accelerating Agriculture Transformation for Improved Livelihoods and Shared Prosperity, which launched the second phase of CADAP in June 2014, has called for, and I quote, targeted support to particularly women, the youth, and other sectors of our disadvantaged societies, end of quote. The AU heads of state and government pointed out that these groups, and I quote, must participate and directly benefit from growth and transformation opportunities to improve their lives and livelihoods, end of quote. The said declaration, which commits to ending hunger in Africa by 2025, further encourages member states to invest in the youth in order to allow them contribute effectively to agricultural transformation. So in essence, agricultural transformation is the in thing. Therefore, this Young Africa Works Summit, coming under the theme Youth Driving Agricultural Transformation, is not only a welcome move, but also a laudable action towards the realization of the AU Malabo goals and targets of doubling current agricultural productivity levels, also reducing by half current levels of post-harvest losses, bringing down stunting to 10%, underweight to 5%, and reducing at least poverty by half by 2025. This is how the heads of state really value agriculture. Most important to this theme of this summit is the target to create job opportunities for at least 30% of the youth in agricultural value chains. Certainly, the overriding opportunity we have in Africa is the population of the youth, which is estimated to be about 2/3. The agriculture sector, with its reasonably wide value chains, presents a great opportunity for absorbing our young people and empowering them towards making the desired difference in the course of realizing our Agenda 2063, the Africa we want. There is a horde of other opportunities out there, which I'm sure this summit is well placed to identify and explore. The onus is on all of us, policymakers and leaders, to implement strategies on how to harness the youth potential. Otherwise, realizing the vision will remain far-fetched. Therefore, the question of the moment is how to exploit the opportunities and how the continent and regional institutions have positioned themselves to enable the environment and support member states to address them. The member states, they were 54, now they are 55. So all the countries on the continent are members of African Union. The answer to this question needs no deep pondering. We have abundance of best practices and success stories to tap from, which include policy design and implementation, institution building and empowerment, and investment in agricultural programs and projects for results and impact. There are many experiences on the continent to share on agricultural mechanization, on irrigation, fertilizer development and application, agro-processing and agribusiness, and in all this, engaging and empowering youth and women in particular is extremely important and is at the center. But all these require capacity to scale up. In pursuit of this aspiration, we in the Department of Rural Economy and Agriculture of the African Union Commission included in our strategic plan 2014 and 2017 two broad strategic actions, namely development of framework policy for boosting women and youth access to land, to capital, to credit, and other productive assets, and also enhancing capacity of women and youth in agribusiness. Some of the activities are implemented under the African Solidarity Trust Fund for Food Security, of which we are members of a steering committee. In addition, we have included youth to agriculture and agribusiness leaders in our annual CADAP partnership platforms. The last CADAP partnership platform included a separate theme and a panel on youth in agriculture, which resulted in important recommendations and policy directions for involvement and financing young people in agripreneurial projects. Distinguished young people, ladies and gentlemen, I am pleased to underscore that prior to 2008, that's the year I assumed my duties as Commissioner for Economy and Agriculture, youth and women in agriculture and agribusiness seldom featured in activities of the department. But since then, progress gradually picked up, especially leading to 2014, which was declared the year of agriculture and food security. And from the start of 2014 and henceforth, every single international partnership meeting which we have organized included the young people in agribusiness as delegates. I also wish to inform this gathering that our CADAP Malabo business plan includes two specific goals: create job opportunities for at least 30% of the youth in agricultural value chains, and preferential entry and participation of women and youth in gainful and attractive agribusiness. The plan specifically aims at developing innovative ways and incentives to increase youth enrollment in agricultural disciplines, in vocational and tertiary education, such as through exciting agribusiness training programs. Such focus on youth in Africa's agricultural development agenda, CADAP, only picked up momentum during my tenure. Of course, I'm not blowing my trumpets. This is reality. Nevertheless, resource limitations are still major handicap. We need to double our efforts and join our hands together to mobilize more resources for youth in agriculture and agribusiness. We need to see a proliferation of youth enterprises along the agricultural and animal and fisheries value chains. We need to see more youth involved in environmental and green energy, in climate-smart agricultural production, applying technology and science. Our vision and mission for realizing agricultural growth and transformation in Africa will be a mirage if we don't harness our demographic dividend by investing in innovative youth discussed and focused on and youth-led initiatives. Certainly, the target of creating jobs for at least 30% of the youth in agricultural value chains requires high-level commitments and leadership drive at national level, subnational, and community levels. Allocating resources for meeting this target promises high dividends. The 2/3 of the population being youth, if equipped with knowledge and adequately skilled and funded, can easily translate our vision of realizing a sustained agriculture sector growth, ending poverty, improving livelihoods, and ensuring prosperity. Add to this, youth have the vitality. They are not like me. They have the energy and innovation Today, most of the recent innovations in information, in communication, and technology, ICT, is done by our young people. In this light, I encourage our African governments to consider adopting a minimum of 3 strategies. The first of these strategies is to establish a catalytic funding facilities for funding young in agribusinesses. I mean young people, the youth. Of course, and the women. I am aware that some of our member states have already done this and are reaping the benefits of this policy, even in its early stages. Second, there is a need to establish and support institutional structures at national and sub-national levels for supporting youth in agribusinesses initiatives within the framework of a public-private partnerships, because institutions really propel momentum for sustainability. Third, establish platforms for experience sharing, lesson learning, and mutual accountability for youth practitioners and their directly supporting institutions. Distinguished young people, ladies and gentlemen, the African Union Commission and the Department of Economy and Agriculture in particular has of recent stepped up working closely with the continent's agriculture, research, development institutions coordinated by the Forum for Agricultural Research (FARA) to consolidate efforts of implementing the Africa Agriculture Science Agenda so that research and innovation lead to practical results in the field. We need to even work more closely to implement strategies of this agenda, giving youth in agribusiness and agro-industry special attention. Modern agricultural technology must target the youth in even higher scales than ever before. I wish to further underline that in 2016, my department and FARA, in collaboration with some of the universities, launched the African Agribusiness Incubation Network in Accra, Ghana. Aim is to promote investment in agricultural commodity value chains by mentoring and facilitating the acceleration of new enterprises, commercialize scientific knowledge and technologies. It is my personal wish and conviction to see that AIN achieves the heights of its vision of turning millions of young people on the continent into successful entrepreneurs, with agriculture providing the main platform of this initiative. As I conclude, I must wholeheartedly commend the MasterCard Foundation for initiating the Young African Work Summit. This is the way to go. I look forward to the outcomes of this meeting. I solidly stand behind our young people and those who are all will be bold enough to step forward with proposals to invest in agribusiness and agro-industry. I thank you for your kind attention.
Very good. Thank you, Madam Commissioner. We appreciated your remarks and your observations and the needs that need to be addressed as well. This brings us to the close of the first day. I hope that you'll agree with me that it's been a very stimulating first day, starting from this morning after the remarks from Ann Miles from the MasterCard Foundation and the Minister from Youth and ICT. We then had the 5 youth panelists. These are very dynamic, very impressive youth delegates who were up here, and they were talking about their successes and their dreams and their aspirations as agripreneurs, which is an interesting word. I love that word, agripreneurs. We heard about what one of them called the need for organized disruption, because we're talking about transformation of the sector, but we don't want chaos, so organized disruption. It's a nice phrase. We saw the passion that they could bring. I think everybody saw that. That was evident in the room. And then I love the phrase of, I think it was Letitia at the end, if you love agriculture, raise your hand, and if you don't love agriculture, raise your standards. I thought it was a wonderful line that she had there. We had that live television program with CNBC Africa, with the panelists who spoke about this issue about transformation of agriculture and the role of youth. Was to mention 3 big ticket items that need to be addressed. One of the panelists was saying is policy, knowledge, and resources. Okay, that's pretty good. If you can address those issues and find solutions, I think we're well on the way to the transformation. And this notion again of inclusion of young people in policy decisions, in planning, in implementation. Nothing can be done for youth without youth. I think it's a very strong message that came out of that session. There was a session on policy and insights into the implementation and how to put policy into practice to drive the transformation that we've all been talking about. Again, there was this clear call for young people. Where's Francis? There you are. Francis, a clear call from him and his other panelists to have youth be, right from the get-go, right from the start of policy formulation, be involved at all levels. And that the policymakers and all the stakeholders involved should not think of youth as beneficiaries, but rather as participants. If that mind shift can be made, I think we'll be making a lot of progress in this transformation. You all had lunch, that was great. You all then had a chance to dive a little deeper into the 3 sub-themes. Climate smart agriculture, gender and technology, and we'll be hearing a little bit about that tomorrow at some point. And then you've just heard Madam Commissioner talk about African Union, the Commission itself, but also the work of governments in the region to make a priority of youth and accelerating youth entrance into agriculture and the transformation that's required, and what some of those governments are already doing. So thank you again, Madam Commissioner, for your remarks there. One of the things we hope that we tried to achieve on the first day anyway is to try and understand whether there was a greater understanding amongst you, the people in the audience, about what needs to be done so that we can have youth drive this transformation. And so for the last time today, I'm going to ask you to pick up your clickers. We have a question, the clickers on your seats. We have a question where we're going to ask you yourselves whether you think that change has occurred. Again, don't start voting. You can see the question, how much progress do you think has been made today, amongst all the sessions that we had, in better understanding how youth in Africa can drive agricultural transformation? I'd like to say 1 is not an option, but if you want to vote for number 1, you're fine. Slight progress, moderate progress, a great deal of progress. So when I say vote, you have 10 seconds. How much progress have we made today in moving more forward in that understanding of what is needed? The voting is open. You can start voting. There is no right or wrong answer. This is just a sense of the audience, that's all. How much progress have we made today in better understanding? You don't need more time. We're done. Voting is closed. What did you decide? No progress, 1.8, slight, moderate progress, and a great deal of progress. So, more than 3/4 of you thought that we made some, or moderate, or a great deal of progress, which is pretty good. Which leaves a little bit that we can talk about tomorrow to make even more progress. And maybe we'll ask this question and everything will be down in the blue and the yellow at the end. So, good, that's very gratifying to see that. So a couple of minor housekeeping things. You have the clickers in your hands. Please do not walk out with those. Just leave them on the seats, all right? You cannot change your television in your room tonight. They only work in this room. Leave them on the seats. One more time, YAW2017, that's the hashtag. One more time, download the application for your smartphone, and there'll be information there. We are going to start again tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock, so it would be good if you could be in this room a little before 9 o'clock. And I just wanted to remind you that at 8 o'clock tomorrow morning, There are 3 sessions which are going on below us in the rooms where you had your breakout sessions, and you are invited to attend those as well. There is one session which will be talking about the Youth Livelihoods Report. There'll be the launch of that report. This was a report that was carried out, a study that was carried out in 2 African countries using a diaries approach about how youth how they see their livelihoods and how they see their income generation. Very interesting results. There will be, in another room, there will be a session on the African Transformation Report, the highlights of that. And then in the 3rd session, there's going to be a presentation on value chain opportunities for women and youth in livestock production. So the Youth Livelihoods Diaries Report, the Africa Transformation Report, and Women and Youth in Livestock Production. Those are 3 sessions going on at 8 o'clock tomorrow morning below us. At 9 o'clock tomorrow morning, we'll see you here in this audience, and we'll make a little more progress in understanding what needs to be done. All right? So thank you very much. You've been a great audience, and have a very nice evening. We'll see you tomorrow.